Hey, it's Don Skaggs again with Empowered Inventing, the one place where we help you try to help other people by taking innovation and opportunity and turning them into real things like products and businesses. Now, today I want to talk to you about your patenting strategy. Do you have a patent strategy? Do you have a strategy for protecting yourself and protecting your idea? And unfortunately, a lot of inventors and entrepreneurs, they want to run out the first thing and just go buy a patent. Or go out to an attorney and throw them a napkin sketch and say, here, make me a patent. And they think that patent means instant millionaire. Well, it's not, number one. So don't spend a ton of money on a patent where you don't know you have a market yet. So there are some really good strategies, what I call lean patent strategies. You know, there's a lot of good books out, the Lean Startup, and a lot of good things in recent years that they've taught about running things lean, either with a business or with an idea. We probably are one of the biggest promoters for lean, the lean invention process of anybody out there. And so, number one, just don't spend a ton of money on a patent that you don't know you have a market for yet. You are literally gambling. You're going up to the table and you're dropping $10,000 and you're spinning the roulette wheel and you're like, oh, well, gee, I guess that didn't work. It didn't follow the number I wanted, so I guess I walk away with my pockets turned inside out. Don't do that. There are cheaper, better ways, good strategies that you can do to get around that. And I want to talk to you a little bit about some of those briefly. So, number one is use a provisional patent. Now, if you're not familiar with the process, there are two things that you can file, and this is a really great tool that the USPTO has, the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, and you can file for the big patent, what I call the big enchilada, what they call the non-provisional patent. And that's the actual patent you're filing for. But before you file that, you can file something called the provisional patent. And this provisional patent, and you can write it. I've seen a lot of inventors that can write it themselves. You're describing your invention. A lot of us sometimes will put it out, we'll write it out just like we would in a form for, just like as if it were a patent or a patent application. You can put claims in, but you don't have to. There's not a lot of big requirements for what goes into the provisional patent, outside of you want to be sure and put everything in there that describes your idea. So you put all this in here, and you write all this out, and you can file it yourself for, I think the cheapest way you can file it right now is about $70. So for $70, and maybe some good consulting before you get into that, or some good education on how to prepare for that before you get into it, you can get by really cheaply. You're not spending 10 grand. You're not even spending 5 grand. You're just spending a little bit, maybe a few $100s. Another thing, you want to be sure and file as a micro entity. Now, there's a stipulation for that. You have to have a gross annual income. I think right now the level they set at it's about $177,000 a year and change. So if you make less than that, you can file for what's called the micro entity status, and that gets you that $70 per provisional patent fee. Otherwise, it might double or something. Still, it's not a whole lot. If you're making more than that, you can probably afford it. But still, it's a way to not have to just pay a whole lot up front. So you definitely do a provisional patent and use the microentity status. Now, the thing the provisional patent does it give you a patent? No. But you can stamp patent pending on it. On everything that you produce, literature, everything about it, it's patent pending. It holds your foot in the door for 12 months. Now, here's the thing about that 12 months. It will be the fastest 12 months of your life, because you're having, they give you the 12 months not just to sit and work on your non-provisional. No. You want to answer one question in those 12 months, and you want to be completely ready to hit the ground running when you file that provisional to answer this question. And the question you have to answer is this going to sell? Does it have a market? Can I make these and sell these? How much can I make and sell them for? What kind of profit can I make? And will people buy them? That is very important, and you have 12 months to figure that out. but it's a really cheap 12 months, 70 bucks, maybe a little more to get some guidance on writing it, and you can file that yourself if you're willing to take the risk, and then you've got 12 months to figure all that out. So you're not spending tons of money first. Very important. I've seen a lot of successes. I've done this myself. I've done it the same way, and it really, really does work. Now, you want to do as much for the writing and the patent searching yourself that you can, especially up front. Now, if you want to go see a patent agent, you want to go see a patent, no problem with that. I won't touch on that in a second. But do a lot of the work. I always tell people, pretend that William Shakespeare got his way and all the attorneys have died. And that's actually a quote from William Shakespeare. Google it. But write as much as you can yourself. Pretend like you don't have a patent attorney to help you, and write out as much as you can. Again, we teach ways for you to be able to write things correctly, write things and search things correctly. And you want to be able to do that because it's going to do two things. Number one, it's going to teach you about how to explain and how to articulate and how to communicate your idea, your product better. So when it becomes a product, it becomes a startup, and you're having to go out there and you've got that 12 months and you got to figure out, you want to be able to communicate that in the best way you can. And the best foundation you can lay for that is writing this patent out. Writing about your idea and putting it down in words. Check out our video. You better write that down. We talk about that. So, use a patent search tool. There's a lot out there that are free. We actually have one that we sell. An automated patent search goes through and just scours the entire USPTO database that you can do. And so use some type of patent search tool. Use the tools that are available, and again, learn about them. And just take ownership of doing the work yourself. Do as much of the work yourself that you can, and when you're ready for hiring an attorney, and at some point you probably will be, then you treat those attorneys, and this is what I was going to get to about attorneys, you treat them just like everybody else. Treat them like a plumber or an electrician, anybody else that's providing you service. And if you're in business, and you want to treat this like a business, whether you're an inventor or a startup or a small business, you want to treat it the same way. Get 3 quotes for everything, And so you don't treat attorneys any different. They're not this, big, the Grand Wizard up there, the Wizard of Oz kind of guy where he's up there and you just have to, here, and we won't tell you what it's going to cost until the end. No. You get 3 quotes. You get 3 quotes and you communicate well on that. But you can do a lot of the work yourself. You take that work to the attorney and say, how much more is it going to cost for you to clean this up and give me the best chance at a non-provisional patent? That's my strategy for it. That's what I've done, and that's what I've seen other people do and be successful at. So anyway, you be sure and use a lean patenting strategy. If you're going to move forward, don't spend a lot of money up front before you know you're going to make money as much as you can. So again, I'm Don Skaggs. This is Empowered Inventing. Check out our website, empoweredinventing.com, and I will look to see you maybe at one of our online meetings, one of our workshops here in Kentucky, or one of our online classes maybe, or at the very least on the next video.